I'm Ezra Dyer, and we're here with the 2008 Lotus Exige S240, the quickest car Lotus has ever made. And while that entails some compromises for the street, when you're not on the street, it's awfully nice. When this thing gets to about 7,000 RPM, you feel like, I should shift. And then you've got to make yourself keep your foot down and keep yourself from grabbing the shift lever, because you've got another 1,000 RPM that's when it really gets crazy. In a good way. It's kind of amazing to me that this car has the touring package with the sound insulation, because I can't imagine what it'd be like without the sound insulation, because as the revs rise, see, it does still get kind of a little bit loud in here when you can't really hear all the sound. The tires are basically slicks. They have very little tread on them, and the tread wear rating is 60, which means that they're so soft that right now, even parked, they're wearing out. This being a pretty hardcore sports car, you've got your sports car essentials like a gigantic wing and a gigantic intercooler for the supercharger to get a nice dense charge of air into the engine. What you don't have is a lot of trunk space. The Exige is a hardtop version of the Lotus Elite, essentially, and the main difference is you've got this air intake. You got your hood scoop on the roof here, and this part doesn't come off, which makes it a little bit harder to get yourself into the thing. Less absurd than the size of the trunk is the fact that it still has an escape handle inside. This Exige has the touring package, which gives you some creature comforts like leather seats, carpeting, and a radio. And this car even has something I've never seen before in a Lotus, a cup holder. Most cars give you the option of turning off the traction control system with, usually a button. This car has a knob on the side of the steering column that lets you adjust the intervention to a bunch of different levels, or just turn it off. Another drawback of trying to use an Exige as a daily driver is that it's a little bit of a nightmare to park because the intercooler takes up the whole back window. So trying to back into a parking space requires advanced planning and use of the force. So I guess an obvious question is, why do you spend $65,000 on a car that has a Toyota 4-cylinder motor in it when you could have a 911 or a Z06 or something like that? And I think the answer is that this thing is just so fun, it's so pure. Lotus is a very focused company, and this is what they do. They make lightweight sports cars that are fantastic to drive on a track. I mean, this thing comes with seats with the holes cut into them for race harnesses. Who does that? The Exige S240 does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. It gets to 100 miles an hour in a little less than 10 seconds. But it's actually even more fun to drive than those numbers would suggest. I'm Ezra Dyer for the New York Times.